Welcome to Tea Time with Amie and Bev. Another week. So excited.
Good
So,
morning.
good morning. I want to give you an update from our tea time from last week. Last week we talked about manifesting and being in that energy of receiving and being
Yes.
okay with receiving and that conversation. Um, so that just so people know, we record on Wednesdays and we release on Thursday. Thursday night, I saw a lady who watches our recordings every week, or listens
Nice.
to our recordings every week. At one of the retreats that I held, she was there, and I did for a first time like ever, I did a raffle drawing, and she, of course, bought tickets, and she won a lot of prizes, right? But if you recall last week, it was being in that energy flow and being, you just go to something like that, and that one person, man, just has a ton of things in front of them because they're in that receiving and fun and joyful energy space, right? So I saw her Thursday night, and she says, "Oh my gosh, I listened to your tea time," and I just so felt like the way I was at that retreat when I was winning all those prizes, and so we had a great conversation about that. So just an awareness. I don't know if you get any feedback, but I do have people talk to me
Okay.
like in person type of thing when I see them and tell me that they enjoy listening to tea time. Um, so we are touching lives.
That's
It's
awesome. And
exciting,
we
right?
are. Yes. I know we have a couple that watch on a regular basis as well that I know about, and they'll say stuff that they'll give me heads up about things and what they felt, and they're appreciating us for sure. So it's awesome.
Yeah, and
Growing.
say that again.
It's awesome because they're growing too, because we're all growing together.
As we grow, so one of the things that's really been in my face lately is um, I'm a knowledge whore. Like I just want to suck it all in, right? I want to read everybody's books. So that has pertains to personal development. I want to watch all their webinars. I just want to take it all in. That's all good and fine. And listening to tea time, it's all good and fine. But are you implementing it? And that's a key word, is implement it. Because in my years of personal development and spiritual growth and expansion, I've spent thousands of dollars on books, thousands of dollars on attending in-person events, and thousands of hours listening to podcasts and webinars, the free webinars, all that stuff. After a while, you may realize that they're all saying the same thing. Unless we're talking about technology, which technology we know is continuously changing, and we get staying up on that. I mean, that's, if you're in the technology world, then you got to stay up on that stuff because it's ever changing. Personal development and spiritual growth, they are all saying the same thing, just from their own perspective. So if you have one person that you thoroughly enjoy, and I'll say for me, I really enjoyed Wayne Dyer's books and his how he changed from like the first book he wrote through all the books. You could just see his development through each book. You can pick one of his books and just read that book over and over and over, because each time you read it, you're in a different space. you are going to capture something new and you're going to swear he rewrote the book. I think I talked about that last week. And but what I like and what I know I get captivated by is I like the story. So I like to hear each person's story and how what led them to personal development and how they moved through it. But the tools, they're all similar. So you can keep spending, and hear me, and I think Bev has done this too. It's like you can keep spending the hundreds or thousands of dollars on each book or each person. You got to implement it. You have to apply it to your life. You have to apply it, because otherwise you're just a knowledge whore. That's it. So how do you feel about that? What's your input?
I agree. I agree. It's all, a lot of it's the same. And I also know that, just like you said, reading the books, it's different because we change. And sometimes we're able to hear or listen to something, and then other times we don't hear it at all. I mean, I do agree with all that stuff, and we do have to implement it. I feel like it's a process, though. I mean, pat yourself on the back that you got this far, that you're actually reading the books and trying, because that means that you have a desire to move forward. You have a desire to be other than you are right this moment. Not that there's anything wrong with any of us, but it's like we want more. And it's not wanting more as far as more money and more everything else. It's really being happy. So it's like just really paying attention to that stuff. And then it's like we start noticing that the next phase is listening. Because most of us are pushing, we're reading this stuff, we're pushing, we want to learn this stuff, but we're not hearing it, we're not listening to it. And then we start preaching it to everybody else, right? So recognizing, again, now we're giving someone else advice, we're preaching it to them, but we're still not practicing it. Because I've done this, I did it for a long time, and I didn't even realize it. And then after a while, which is I feel like for me, it's been part of my process. And then now I'm at a point where now I'm hearing it and I'm seeing it, and I'm having such aha moments. It's like, holy crap, this makes so much sense now. Some stuff that didn't make sense before. And now recognizing my wants and desires that are coming forward, and I'm wanting to do these things, and I'm doing a lot of these things because I'm practicing this, and then recognizing, where am I sabotaging myself? Because I have been doing it. I've been doing it this week. I mean, I have busted myself, so that's the bottom line. But no,
Did you put yourself in timeout? Like, Bev, you're in timeout.
like, that's it, girl.
Go to the corner.
Quit talking crap to yourself. We have to recognize too, because all the stuff that we're talking about, we have to recognize and be all right with where we're at. And it's that desire, it may be this, because even though others have planted seeds within us, those books have planted seeds within us, we've planted seeds within ourselves. When we say we want to do something, or we desire to do something, or we need to do something, even though we put ourselves in a place of need with that word, we are planting a seed. Now, when we act on that, it's a whole nother story.
Yes. So if you recall, I say, before doing a class or tea time or anything like this, I'll say, I ask that I'm open and receptive to the information and knowledge of the universe, and that those that are in attendance can hear, listen to, and act upon the messages being delivered. Because exactly. So we could be sitting here, or, somebody's listening to this, and I'm guilty of it too, that we think that we're amazing at multitasking. Just let me tell you this. I thought that too. For many years, I thought I was just so proud. I was a multitasker. I was getting shit done, right? Well, really, the only thing we're doing is we're taking our attention from one thing to another thing. And when you have to come back to the other thing, you got to figure out where you were, right? You can only give your attention to one thing. So if you're doing something and somebody's talking to you, you're not hearing everything they're saying. You're not giving your full attention to them. You're not in their full presence of their energy. And by what I recognized with myself was that if I think I'm multitasking, I'm doing something but listening to somebody else, somebody talk to me, I'm not honoring their energy. I'm not honoring their presence. I'm saying they're not that important for me to fully embrace the conversation. Because I thought doing many things at one time was important. So I could get stuff done because I was that important, right? I had so much to do. I was that important. I needed to keep moving, and you talk to me while I'm doing this. So even listening to Tea Time or any other speaker, you can't be on your cell phone going through your emails and listen to something and think you're absorbing what's being said.
True.
Because what's being said is what is important to implement, take action on, right? Act upon the information you're receiving. And one thing that I found is another reason why I kept reading all the books and listening to all the teachers is the magic pill. We all want a magic pill to make it go away faster, or make it change faster, or make it better faster. It took you this long to get where you're at. It's going to take some time to get you where you want to be. So if I was to drop 40 pounds overnight, that would be very, very, very unhealthy for me. I need to do it over a period of time in a healthy way. Not overnight. Personal development doesn't happen overnight. But the choice to make a change, that happens right now. And that's the allowing. I'm allowing myself for a change. I'm allowing myself to open up to receive the information that's going to help me on my journey. But we have to implement it.
It's true. I tried to watch a video this weekend in color at the same time, and then I was told, did you even hear what they said? And I was like, because he said something to me about what was said. I was like, no, I didn't. And it's like, I've done that numerous times. So it's like, it's all right if I listen to music and do that. But if I'm putting my attention, the thing is, if I'm putting my attention on one thing, I'm putting all of my attention on that one thing. And then it's like, if you're hearing something in the background, you're only catching a little bit of what's being said. And then it's like, then your perspective, what did you really hear? Because what you thought you heard could be something totally different than what was said. There's miscommunication there, even in, like you said, with conversations, having a conversation with someone in multitasking, playing a game on your phone. I've been guilty of all this stuff. But it's like, how present were you? Why did I hear this conversation differently? I'm actually recognizing that more recently as well.
And if I'm doing something and I know I'm almost done with it, like just a couple more steps, I'll be done, like right now, right? And somebody starts talking to me, I'm just like, hold on, let me finish this and I'll give you my full attention. Or if I know that this is going to take me another hour or something, I'm just like, take a deep breath. It's okay if I stop and come back to it, right? Maybe I just need a break right now anyway. But I will stop what I'm doing and then have that conversation. Or stop what I'm doing and answer the phone and be in the conversation. I'm not going to be in the conversation or think I'm in the conversation and continue typing a letter or continue shuffling, whatever, right? Stop, right? Remember the whole fire thing, stop, drop, and roll? Stop, drop, and roll. Stop what you're doing, be in the conversation, be present. Stop, drop, and be present. Not drop your body, drop whatever you're doing. Just stop. And honor that person because they want to have a conversation with you. And it's important because, you know, it can lead to miscommunication between two people because you're not fully hearing what they're saying. And the energy of what they're saying is also important. If somebody's telling me a sad story, but I have my energy in trying to multitask, I'm not fully feeling their truth. Being an empath, I can feel the truth. You can lie to me, but I'm just like, yeah, you're full of shit, but okay, it's your story. But if I'm fully present with the conversation and I'm feeling into their energy, I recognize a deeper level of where they're coming from than just their words. If I'm over here, I'm not seeing a facial expression. That's an issue with texting, right? Texting is you want to implement somebody's personality into a text, but that causes so many, I mean, sure, I know I've done it, that causes so many problems. And you're assuming the person's in one demeanor, and really they're in a different demeanor when they send you the message, and you're not in, right? So texting gets us in a lot of trouble in that way. But a person who is like in your presence, even a phone call, hearing the words, I can feel their energy through their words because I'm fully present with them. A person doesn't need to be standing next to me to feel their energy. Same with you. Same with anybody listening to this. A person does not have to be standing next to you in order to tune into their energy. And so having a verbal conversation on the phone, yes, talking on the phone is a way to, because you can hear the tone, right? And you can feel that. And so just stop thinking you're multitasking, because you're not. And there's been a study, I don't know what the study name is, I just remember it because when I was working for corporate, working for a franchise, I was in an office, I was doing the job of at least 2 people, if not more. And there was a study done, or I don't know how long ago, but I remember hearing about the results. And they said that in an office space, if you think you're multitasking, first of all, you're wrong, because you're only just stopping, you're giving your attention to this, and then you're giving your attention to this, and then you're giving your attention to this, right? There's no multitasking. We've created that in our head to think there is. But on an average, it takes you 20 minutes to get back into where you left off. 20 minutes. And these days, like, to many people, time is very valuable to them, right? So it's like, do this and complete it. If you can't complete it right now, just know you're going to have to come back to it and get back into wherever you left off. Some things that's very easy to do, other things not so much, right?
Sure.
So multitasking is a false perception.
And I think we've all been on the opposite side of those conversations too. I've been the one that's been the person playing on the phone or doing something and then talking at the same time, like I'm listening. But I've also been on the other side of it when someone else has been playing the video game and you're telling them something and you know they're not, you can feel they're not hearing you. They're not listening to you. They're not even participating in the conversation. So, and that's an uncomfortable feeling. So it's like for me, recognizing that that's how I've felt and I've made others feel the same. And it's not like I did anything bad. It's just a realization. It's just a realization because we've all been doing it too. I mean, maybe not all, but the majority of people do that. And think that we're present.
It's programming, though. How many years has this been going on? And I'm gonna almost guarantee, I don't know this is a fact, but I'm gonna almost guarantee that a woman created this multitasking.
Yeah. Well, that's because they were holding on to the baby, cooking dinner, and out in the backyard to behave, watching the kids at the same time. So yep. Everywhere. But then you think about that, you're everywhere but with yourself too. So how neglectful we've been with ourselves over time.
Yes.
And that's just practice. And it's gonna go as fast as we let it go. Yeah. If we're pushing for it to happen, good luck. Because whatever you push against is gonna be pushing right back against you.
Yeah, good luck with that. So have you found in our conversations and over your time of learning about yourself how funny we are as humans? and all these things that we've created.
It is funny. I mean, a lot of it, it was just those are the tools that we were raised with. We didn't know any different. That's why you expand yourself. That's why you get out around more people. That's why people watch, millionaires talk about how they made their millions, or, it's all relatable.
I will sit, I'll do something or I'll witness something and I'll just sit and I'm just like, how silly are we in our human form? We do things that are just absolutely comical. But because we take life so seriously, it's not funny to most. I know I used to be that way. Nothing was funny. I was so serious about life, and if I did something that would what I consider now as silly, I would get pissed off at before. So, and that just comes down to a control issue. So, but I laugh at myself all the time. I'm like, why did you think that was so serious? Or why did you? There was a conversation between two people in the household last night, and I started to get involved in the conversation, and then I backed up and I went, do I really want to? It wasn't like a real serious conversation, it was just they're trying to figure something out, but it was something that wasn't really theirs to figure out. Like not even anything in their control. They were just giving attention to it. And I just thought, I don't want to give my time and energy to this. So I went over and did something else. I started doing wherever I left off. And so I do that a lot. I'm like, okay, do I want to give my time and energy to this situation? Is this important to me? And how serious is this really? Is this going to change my life? Does this directly affect my life? And a lot of times the answer is no. Like I'll laugh it off and move on to something else.
Which is good.
It is good. It's a good,
Feels good.
yeah, good observation. What else is happening in your world?
Like I said, I was just recognizing there's things that I wanted and things have been going really great. And it's like when they're going so great, I realize that then I start thinking all these things, like we call them the monkeys start getting going or whatever. They start like telling you all these lies or ways to take away from being in the present moment and enjoying the present moment. So I'm constantly recognizing that when I'm doing it, and then just talking, like, why am I saying this stuff? Is that even true? It's why can I not just enjoy where I'm at right now? And then I'm asking for help. Like, how do I enjoy this moment right now? Just internally, and I might say it out loud. I'm usually by myself, but it's like I'm asking those questions, and ironically enough, I'm listening to Asking It Is Given, the audio tape by Esther and Jerry Hicks with Abraham, and I'm listening to that, and it's like, it's basically saying if you ask no question, there will be no answer. And then to me, it's like if I'm not asking questions, then I'm not evolving, because I'm not being curious about things. And I feel like our curiosity is what's so important from being a child to now. Our curiosity is what helps us to create new things. It helps us to find solutions. It helps us to live a better, more fulfilled life, I feel like. Because we're never going to get to a place, if you think you're going to get to a place that this is it and I'm happy with everything that I'm at right now, well, that's great. But there's always going to be a what's next, because that's part of our growth. Because there's always more. And it's not in a greedy sense, it's just always more. There's always more knowledge, there's always more information, there's always more people that you can be around to uplift. There's always something.
Yes. And one of the things I just heard actually yesterday, I've heard it many times. I think it's just been more when you're ready to hear it. I mean, I've heard it many, many times, but when you're ready for it to really become a part of your knowledge or wisdom, you ponder. I think you're more able to sit and ponder it or contemplate it. You're like, right? So when we're not asking the questions to receive the guidance, the help, whatever support, whatever it is you need, or just expansion. Um, we're letting life lead us. We're just bumping around, and wherever direction we go is where we go. Where when you set your focus on something as a goal, or the direction you want to go, you're laying a focus, and you'll do the steps to get to that goal. If you don't lay that path. So as an example, this is one of like a wild example, but our spirit was like, hey, we're going to go to Earth, and we're going to have fun, and we're going to do this, and we're going to be creative about that. We're going to play here. Right? Our spirit was like, this is where we're going. Okay, so as a human, though, we have free will, so we can make all kinds of choices, right? So you've seen that picture where if you think spirit had this goal, like, here we go, we're going down this path. This is what we're going to do. But our human self, our monkey mind, and all that other crap did this. Right? You've seen that picture. So we can eventually end up back on that path where spirit intended us to be, or we could end up somewhere else because we don't have a focus, and we just let life bump us around and do whatever. So when you're asking the questions, then you're getting some clarity, you're getting some direction, you're getting that support. Is that what you would equate that to, or is that equivalent what you're talking about?
Yeah, and I feel like sometimes just even asking the questions makes you almost present too, because you can almost immediately answer yourself on a lot of these things. So it's almost just like bringing you present and paying attention. We have so much available knowledge to us on any given moment that we don't take advantage of.
We have the knowledge of everything that was and everything that is.
Yeah, and it's
everything that will be, because everything that is created from a thought.
And it's paying attention to your emotions. You gotta know where your energy is at right now. You gotta know when things feel good and what things feel bad. It's like really, a lot of times I think that we don't even recognize it. Like people say the word money, some people will feel great about the word money, and some people will feel like, but it's like paying attention to that, being present enough to even acknowledge that. Just paying attention to it, or someone loving chocolate cake, or someone like, oh, I don't like chocolate, but there's a sense, there's a feeling behind that. And those are the feelings that kind of help channel us or help us to, move our way through life that we ignore because we're so not in touch with ourselves. So it's just little things. It's sitting back and just, it's wondering. I don't know. It's like I said, it's the curiosity. It's the excitement of what possibly could be shown to you. Life is freaking amazing. Life is. And I've been on the opposite side. The first half of my life, if anybody saw me, I walked around like I had a stick up my ass. I looked like I was pissed off all the time. I was unhappy. Always. Someone I talked to before had told me, yeah, someone such and such had passed through town. I'd asked them about you, and they said, you just looked unhappy. Yeah, I probably was. I honestly feel like that's what I thought that life was. That's how life was. I really felt like that's how life was always supposed to be. I mean, I was always striving and going and doing, but moving forward because I knew that I had to move forward always. I had my kids and stuff like that. There was things that I felt like were my motivation. There were my have-tos to do in life to make sure they were safe and protected and fed. And of course, it wasn't for me until now in life. But we just get so lost, and we get so disconnected from feeling our own feelings that guide us and tell us. When you meet someone, most times we often will get an initial reaction to that person. Can that reaction change on the road? Yeah, I think so. But it's like, but the initial reaction is there's an energy there. It's like, pay attention. That's what helps keep us safe a lot of times, or gives us information, or makes us be a little bit more cautious about something, or tells us, oh my gosh, we're just going to have such a blast. But then, of course, you talk about paving your way. You could do the same thing, paving your way, setting my intentions. Like today's going to be a great day. I'm only going to encounter people that just uplift and move me, and then I'm going to uplift and move them. It's not like I'm setting my whole day. I'm not thinking about every single move, but it's like I'm setting an overall feeling for the day. And I do that often, and it often plays out until I get stuck somewhere, and then it's like, that's all right. It's all right to get, it's not really stuck. It's all of a sudden like, oh, why do I feel bad right now? Why am I telling myself this? Because I can guarantee you almost everybody's talking shit to themselves in their head, breaking themselves down. I can't believe you just did that. No, how about you pat yourself on the back? I can believe you just did that. We're probably not going to do it again in the future.
It doesn't feel good.
It doesn't feel good. But that's the whole thing. And people are so afraid of feeling things. I mean, let's go that direction too. It's like people don't want to feel things. We've had our heart break before or heart broken before. It feels like, well, I didn't die and my heart was broken several times. But it's like it's all right to feel those things. And then we get to a point where we're not even wanting to have any experiences. It's so easy to stay in the house and not do anything. So you don't have to experience any of it. You don't have to experience any heartache, any loss, any anger, you don't have to be around people you don't want to be around. Not realizing that we can set the intention or set the path for the day or the thought for the day, how you want it to go. Like, I'm going to go out and encounter some of the most amazing people. My mind's going to be blown today. I don't even know how great today's going to be, but I am super excited. And how does that feel?
Yeah, right. Always coming back to how does that feel? How do I feel? And I want to hit up on the one thing you said is I want to set the intention that I'm going to have an amazing day. And everyone, people I come in contact with are going to lift me up. I'm going to lift others up. I'm going to lift others up is key, because you may come across a handful of joyful people, and then there's one grouchy person that crosses your path. Now you can take that personal and be like, he's grouching, he's rude, and he didn't have anything nice to say. But did you forget about your intention of, I'm going to uplift others? So how can you uplift that person? Even if it's just a smile at them, even if it's just saying a prayer for them internally. You don't need to say, hey, I need to pray for you because you're grumpy. But it's just like, even though you want to.
Yeah. You do my prayers.
So, but remember, both ways, but the only person you can control is yourself.
That's
So
right.
you can only control how you're going to respond to that grumpy person. You can only control what you think about that grumpy person. And you can only control what your intentions are for that grumpy person. So you don't want that grumpy person to go about the rest of their day being like that, right? So what is my intention of uplifting them? Well, a lot of times I'll just say a prayer. I just want to pray that this person is able to receive joy in their life, receive and experience joy in their life. And surround them with some pink light. To me, pink's like the symbol of love. So, surround them with that bubble of pink light and see them happy for themselves, because they can't hold that space for themselves right now. And then smile at them. You don't have to say 2 words to that grumpy person. Smile at them, say an internal prayer, see them happy, and let them be on their way.
And do you notice also, I mean, we were saying grumpy as just like just a word to use to label somebody, basically, I guess, in a way. But do you notice when you're in a good high space, you don't see them as grumpy, you see them as hurt, or you see them as, just that they're struggling right now.
Yes.
You kind of get a different perspective of them. And I feel like a lot of times it's just really, if we're staying up in our energy, that we're uplifting others anyways. I mean, it's happening all day long. If you're having an excellent conversation and there's someone off to the side that's not feeling good, maybe that was the perspective they needed, or maybe they needed to see there was good in the world, because some people really think that all there is bad. And when you think that way, you kind of get presented with stuff like that shows you that there's a lot of bad. But if you find ways to kind of look at everything that's positive, maybe someone stopping to let someone cross the road, or someone picking up something off the ground, just acknowledging that is uplifting. Even if you weren't the one that did it, it's like acknowledging there are good people. There are good people everywhere.
What would you focus on grows?
Exactly.
Well, saying just using grumpy as an umbrella description is when, and trust me, I had to learn compassion. Trust me, I had to learn what compassion was. Early in my days, I was not a compassionate person. I just thought you were an idiot, you're a dumbass, you created it, deal with it, get over yourself, right? But that was just meaning I was hurting myself. So, but But yes, when you learn about compassion, you don't see that person as grumpy or an asshole or crazy. You're just, they have some internal stuff going on that you don't understand. And it may never be your place to understand it. Maybe somebody's going through a divorce. Maybe somebody's grieving. Maybe somebody was, extremely abused in a relationship. Maybe their child got kidnapped. I mean, you don't know the story. You don't know how extreme it is. And it's not your business. Your business is to love. Doesn't matter what state they're in. Your business, your responsibility as a spirit and body is to love. Does that mean you have to hang out with them? No. Does that mean you need to fix their problem? No. Surround them in that pink light, see them happy, send them on their way. It can be as simple as that. You do not have to get involved in their life. The guy that cut you off and flipped you the finger because you're going too slow, or he's in a bigger hurry than you are. Don't chase him down. Try to do some personal development with him. It's not going to work. You might get your ass kicked, just saying.
I can already hear it in court. Officer, I was trying to track him down so I could do some personal development with him.
I was trying to get his spirit right, officer. I want him to get connected to his light.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I just popped him on his forehead and said he was healed, and he got offended.
That's right. He took it all personal.
I don't know what happened. I was doing good. No, let's not do that. Just a simple prayer that whatever that person has going on in their life, that they can have a resolution, a solution, the guidance and support they need. Just say a prayer for them and let them be on their way. Don't take it personal. This is your responsibility. You, within yourself, that's it. Unless you have a little child that you have to tend to and keep safe, your responsibility is you. End of story.
It's true. And if you're going to love everybody else, you got to love yourself. And if you don't know what that looks like, start asking questions, start looking all around you, because we talked about that recently too. It's going to be all around you.
Yes.
Now, what you're able to understand and comprehend is maybe a totally different thing. So it's like watching the movies, or, getting some clarity on things like that. Because sometimes we haven't had the best role models, or relationships that are around us. Maybe someone's love was shown by money, or someone's love was shown by how they supported you, or, love is demonstrated in so many different ways. When love is not really that, I feel like love, there is no expectation with love. You just do. It's just a thing you feel. It's not something you push or you ask for, or it's just something that you already have. We have it all the time. Even if you're alone, you have it all around. We have it all around us. I believe in spirit. And I think it's important for me, that's what has been an important thing, because for me, I kind of kept myself away from everybody most of my life. And even when I had first met you and stuff, I was probably kind of standoffish. I had a desire to want to be a little different than where I was at right then, but it's like I wasn't pursuing it because I didn't even know how. And I would even still push against things because that's how I had been pushing against things my whole life.
Did you find, though, prior to us meeting, did you find that internally you were asking the questions? Like when I was 28, before I was 28, most of my, my teenage life, as a teenager into my late 20s, I asked the question, is this all there is to life? Because I did not want to be here if it was, because my experience was abandonment, abuse, molestation. Okay. I was angry, I was hurt, I was confused, I was lost. If I gotta live till 80 or 90 or 100 years old with this all there was to life, I was not interested in being here. So did you internally, I wasn't asking this question outside of myself, because I didn't think anybody else around me would understand what I was talking about. But internally, were you asking a question like that to yourself?
No, I don't
doing that.
remember. Yeah, I don't actually remember. I can tell you, I think I wanted to just be loved, or I wanted, to fit in, and
Same. It's the same
be
question though.
accepted. But I don't know that I was asking the questions, because I didn't start asking questions until like the last few years, and it's like I'm like, what the hell? Like how could I was always just moving forward. I don't think I ever wanted anybody's information or anything. And maybe ultimately I did, but I don't think I ever recognized it. I never stopped to listen to it because I was just too busy pushing through everything. I was too busy
But there was
working
the
hard.
desire, right? The desire to
I'm
be
sure
loved.
I would say there was definitely a desire for it.
Okay,
And
so
maybe
was it, it didn't show up, it didn't show up for you in a question, it showed up in a desire. Like I
right,
desired
yes.
to be loved, I desired to know what love is. So you put that out, even though it wasn't an external conversation, you were putting that out into your universal conversation. And look who showed up in your life, just saying. No, I'm kidding.
It's kind of amazing, even through going through massage and stuff, to be working at the jail and stuff, and then then my sergeant was a massage therapist, and she was
Nice.
no longer a massage therapist, but pushing me to like, you might be interested in doing this, because I wanted to help. But I think it was really the person that needed help was me. It wasn't anybody else. And it's kind of ironic. We think that we're so alone in a lot of this stuff. Like you said that being abused and molested and all that stuff. It's like, that's all been my story. That's all been my experience. And it's like, I was even talking last night. It's like, man, I think all the people that I hung around with, when I started thinking about it, it's like everybody had stuff. And it's like, none of us were talking about it. None of us. I mean, we were kids, but we weren't happy kids. I mean, because I was in that space, like attracts like. So I always had people around me, but I had people around me that were like just like me. I was a tomboy, and it's like you just, you know, were rough, really. And it's
I
like
grew
all
up
my
as a tomboy too. I don't know if you knew that. I grew up as a tomboy also.
yeah,
So both of us being very much in our masculine energy, like all our
oh
life.
yeah, oh yeah, always, always. That actually has been. It's easy for me to say now, like, you need to sit back into your feminine. You need to relax back into it. When you're leaning forward, you're like pushing forward. You're like plowing the field. You're like just trying to move everything. But when you're sitting back and relaxing and you're watching and you're like, those are all the opposite feelings of like that leaning forward, that pushing forward, the leaning back into your intuition. I would hear, and it's like, what the hell is that? Lean back into your feminine. What the fuck? Like all that stuff. But but those were questions. I asked those questions, and maybe immediately I didn't know it, or I wasn't
Yeah.
shown it, or maybe I was. But now I recognize it. Oh yeah, it's leaning back. It's just relaxing and allowing. It's like getting in the boat and maybe steering it every once in a while, but not having to control it, constantly. But
Because
also
it's
not letting it go.
exhausting.
Exactly, and not letting it go aimlessly either. Having an idea, but it's taken me forever. It's taken me 50 years to figure out ideas. Like, what do I want to do? Well, frick, I just want to be freaking happy. I said the F word a few minutes ago. Now it's frick. I cracked my
All right, so she went from that masculine fuck to that feminine frick.
frick. That is so true, though. But it's true. Now I'm sitting back more. I'm more relaxed into the space and stuff, instead of like feeling like I have to do something. People, that's again a feeling, but we don't recognize these things until we slow down and start paying attention.
Well, what happens too, and I have to hit up on this, is that being in the masculine energy is survival. So that's where we've been. We've been
Okay.
abused and molested, so we had to be in that survival mode. And
Yep.
so we hung on to that because that was our strength.
Yes.
And so somebody who's been living, I'm going to say women, I'm going to directly talk to women right now, is that when you are in that survival mode and that masculine energy for like wherever you are today, you've probably been there all your life. And when somebody says get into your feminine energy, my thought was no, because then I'm going to be a pushover.
Yeah.
No, because that's a sign of weakness. No, because people are going to step all over me.
Mm-hmm.
No, because people are going to take advantage of me again, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that has nothing to do with it. You are feminine energy, you are masculine energy. That all resides within you. So I may have shared this before, but I'm going to tell you again. Being in the masculine energy, that's on the right side. So the right half, you are lying down the center of your body. The right side is your masculine energy. I'm right-handed. My right arm is very strong because that's what I carry everything with. You know, that 50 pounds of groceries that you want to get in one trip goes on that right arm. So my right side is very strong. Well, that's my masculine energy. 9 out of 10 times that I've been injured, it's been on my left side, which is the feminine side, because I'm not giving attention to it, or I wasn't giving attention to it. I wasn't nurturing it. And it's important that we have a harmonizing, not balance. I have changed my perception about balance, because balance says we need to be equally in congruence on both sides all the time. And that, my friends, is not an easy task to do. But if you're harmonizing, so if you're a business owner, you're in that masculine energy because that's action. But when you're, and so we need the masculine energy for survival, right? If you're out hiking and something happens, you're in survival mode. You need that masculine energy. You're not going to sit back in your feminine and go, what do I do about this rattlesnake that's in front of me? No, you're going to be like, action, right? Feminine, I've been in my masculine all day. I've been working my business all day. My feminine energy says, meditate, take a bath, go for a walk, do something that is more soft and flowing. If you're going to be in your masculine all day, dress like a feminine person. Females, I'm talking females. Put something soft on. Get materials that are soft. Do something that might be a little longer and flowy. Wear some jewelry. Put on some makeup. Do your hair. Wear some body spray. Whatever. Just something to connect to the feminine energy so that you have a harmonizing of them both. There might be times when you're in that motherly role and you have to be in your feminine energy more of the day. Then how are you going to harmonize with the masculine energy, right? So we want to harmonize, not balance. Balance is, have you ever been on a balance beam? Or something where you've had to keep both sides up, right? You're in the center and you're trying to keep both sides from touching the ground. Balancing something, that takes a lot of energy to try to keep you equally balanced all day. It's not possible. In my world and what I've experienced, not possible. But you do want to harmonize the masculine and the feminine within yourself. Honor them both.
Yes.
Masculine is exhausting because it's always do, multitask, right? We come back to the multitasking. If we're multitasking, we're doing, we're in action, we're staying, blah. It's exhausting.
It is.
You want to sit back and say frick.
That's right. It's so funny. But I'm glad I could demonstrate that. I'm not even trying to, but it's like, it's funny. But that's the stuff you recognize when you're paying attention. When you're ready to listen and you're ready to hear and you're ready to see. When you're not plowing everything out of your way or trying to make your way throughout the day and get it over with. When you want to sit back in that space and enjoy the moments. Enjoy all of it. And that's actually where massage helped me a lot, because it actually gave me the opportunity to slow down. I wasn't, you know, ushering people from one place to the next. I wasn't cleaning up spaces, or, you know, I wasn't having to do all day long. Even at that point, being dressed masculine, it's like all day long. It was like that all day.
Yes.
Which was, I felt fine with that, but it's like we don't, without being in that harmony, it's like there's just no, you just don't feel good. And then you start getting depleted and tired.
And you received the guidance in a way where you could hear it, right?
Yes.
And so had she come up to you and said, oh, I'm taking this massage class and it's really telling me how to tune into myself and love myself, and you know, talking that kind of language, You would have been like, what the fuck? Right? Like,
Yeah, you're out of your flipping mind right now.
there's nothing wrong with me. Everybody else needs to be fixed. Right?
Yeah,
But she brought it to you in a way you could hear it.
at that time, yeah.
You were desiring love, you were desiring something different. There was desire within you. And this person came into your experience to say, I'm taking this course on massage, so you might be interested in it. That's all she needed to say, and it just popped a seed in your head, like, right?
Yeah.
Look into this.
For me at the time, it was a way out. But
Yes.
sometimes that way out is just, I think it would, I mean, it's almost as if, I know our spirit really doesn't do this, but it's like almost like it's as if they're like, come on, make a move, you're unhappy.
Yeah, yeah,
But we
yeah.
don't, you just think that that's the way it's supposed to be. You just walk around in the space thinking that's the way, this is it. This is how it's supposed to be all the time. And it's like,
So let me point this out though, and I want to hear your feedback on this. Is okay. So you've been in your masculine energy for like your entire life,
yes,
and you decide to go to massage school. Massage school is a balance, or not balance, but harmonizing the feminine and masculine. But you do a deep tissue massage, it takes a lot of your masculine energy to do that process, right? But
it does.
but you're bringing in the feminine with the physical touch and the
Yeah.
nurturing. So it's interesting to me, and I'm just talking out loud, and again, just giving me your input on this, is that you still went from like a masculine position at the jail to a masculine position in massage, where you brought that because you could bring that with your strength, right? Your physical strength, because I know you work out, and you're still in that space of masculine energy. So what's your input on all that?
I would say yes on all that, honestly. And it's like it helped me to learn how to touch people because, first of all, I was not a nurturer. I did not know how to nurture. I did not know how to love. So this has been that's all been part of the process for me too, which is feminine.
Let's just point this out too. Somebody who's been molested does not do well with touch.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a learning process. And it's like the process to where I got to now, it's like I went through this masculine, masculine, masculine. So even for me now, if I do a deep tissue, I can do it just relaxing my whole body into a person. And it's like, I'm not doing much. It is not an effort for me.
Nice.
Now, there's some days that I'm like efforting and I'm recognizing that that's also me pushing against, right? Because if I'm allowing and I'm setting my intention to the person's attention on my table, whether they've said it out loud verbally or even thought about it, because I know usually people have an idea of what they want from a massage when they come in. I used to ask them to set their intention, and now it's like I just set my intention to match their or exceed for the greater good, because I know that during that massage, whatever they're needing is going to be what flows forward. And sometimes it's not even, we've talked about before, it's not even just the massage, it's the words, it's me recognizing or letting them know that I hear them and I see them. So it gives them that chance to express themselves by their voice. Or sometimes it's just emotional, it's just to allow that a release. So this massage is really, on a very simple level, has put me in touch with myself and has put me in touch with definitely the feminine, more of my feminine side, because I can get into a space of allow. You can't, doing massage, you can't just push your way through the whole day. Otherwise, you're going to hurt somebody, whether mentally, physically, or emotionally.
Yes. I've had massage from you, and prior to our experience together, I've had massages from other people, and I could recognize, like, you can tell when a massage therapist is still in their masculine energy and they haven't done their own work internally.
Yeah.
Because it is a much different experience on your body having a massage from somebody who's in a masculine energy and focused. I'm going to add this to it, and focused on you being a dollar sign.
Yeah.
Compared to somebody who's harmonizing with their feminine energy and is in service to you and your well-being.
It's true.
You can feel that from the massage therapists themselves as the recipient of a massage.
And I've been both of those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you can
I've
tell
been
it,
both.
right? You notice the difference.
Well, because at that time, I would feel like I had to do certain things, like, oh God, maybe I didn't spend enough time on this, or I didn't do enough, trying to control the whole thing. And now I've grown so much as far as that goes, where I'm just allowing. It's like, well, if I have to spend 40 minutes on your back, I have to spend 40 minutes on your back. Maybe that's what they were needing.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't even question things anymore. I just kind of go, and it's not even, I mean, I have tools that I've been given, just like we get tools all the time from our books. I've had tools that I've been given of certain movements to do that are beneficial for a person's body in these places. But now I'm just really, I just kind of, I'm guided. I just do what feels like I'm supposed to do at that point. I don't question myself, and which is another comment I made recently, which kind of takes us on a whole nother rampage maybe, but it's like when we question ourselves, when we make a decision to do something, whether it was good or bad, you know, because that's kind of like all a matter of perspective. Quit questioning yourself. You made a decision at that moment based on however you were feeling at that moment. It's like when you start questioning yourself, it's almost like unraveling a whole, like if I made this shirt and it's like when I start questioning myself, I'm unraveling the whole shirt. I'm removing the whole structure to it. Maybe I didn't always make the best decisions, but I made the decisions based on where I was at that time. And that, so that just kind of came for me to I put out there for people. Be easier on yourself.
Have grace, right? Have grace. It took me a long time to understand what that phrase meant. Have grace with yourself. I didn't get it. I was like, I don't know what that means. I don't even understand what it was like if somebody was talking Chinese to me. It was right up there with being compassionate. I was like, huh?
Exactly.
So, have grace just means have ease with yourself. Be easy with yourself with where you're at, with what you're doing and how you're learning. And those times that you trip, those times that you fall, those times that you bump your head, those times that you come up against the block wall, be easy with yourself and move through it the best you can.
Yeah.
And we
That'd be
can't
stepping,
say it again.
that'd be stepping into our feminine energy, kind of relaxing into the, you know, allowing it and recognizing.
Yes, because the masculine energy says, I need to get through this, I need to trudge through this, I need to keep going, the feminine energy takes a step back, take a breath, reassess the situation and ask yourself, with the information and knowledge I have right now, is this going to help me get through this? And if you're bumping up against something, the answer is no. You need new tools. You need help. You need guidance. And the way you get that is ask. You have to ask, right? And that answer, we keep coming back to this over and over and over again, almost weekly, is be open to receive the guidance. The masculine energy says, I will figure this out. The feminine energy says, there are people to support me. There are other means of support. There's other means of getting this done. The controlling masculine energy says, there's only one way to get through this. The feminine is like, what other avenue could I take? Could I climb the wall? Could I go under the wall? Could I go around the wall? Could I just go in a different direction and avoid the wall altogether because this isn't the direction I'm supposed to be going anyway? Yeah, we need the feminine energy just as much as we need the masculine energy, and vice versa, right?
Yes.
But to receive that information, that guidance, you have to be present. We come back to that word every single week. You have to be present to receive that help. And receiving help is in the feminine energy, and it is not saying you are not good enough. It's saying we all need support. We all need community. We all need connection because we are human, and that's what we are here for, to help each other. So if you think you can go about life and doing it on your own, step back, get into your feminine energy and ask, is this really true? Because I know for myself, I thought I was going life alone by myself. And it was very difficult, and it took me a lot longer to figure shit out.
Yeah.
When I thought I had to do it, to prove myself that I was good enough, because I handled it on my own.
Yeah.
That's all masculine energy. But when I took a breath and I allowed a book to come into my hand, somebody said, "Here, Amie, you might be interested in this book." Oh my gosh, right? And when I went to a retreat, or now we do, webinars and Zoom calls and stuff, allow the help to come, because it will make your life so much easier. So much easier.
And we keep asking for the help. Now I will tell you, I've done that forever, but I was never, well, I wasn't for the longest time able to allow the help. I just was blocking it all the time. It's just even now, being vulnerable, it's like, then I feel like if after I've been vulnerable, I feel like my defense systems have to come up, and like I got to protect myself, because somebody, like we just talked about a little while ago, someone's going to try to take from me, or someone's going to hurt me now. Like they just saw my Achilles tendon and they're going to freaking slice it, or it's just something like that masculine energy, like self-preservation thing, that I have to protect myself. But my feminine side knows that I can be vulnerable, and I'm going to be all right. And even if someone tries to be whatever, take advantage of it or whatever, I'm going to, if I'm listening to my guidance, I'm always going to be fine. And that's their story, and then this is my story.
Yeah. And I need a situation came to my mind that I want to share, because we mentioned being molested, and that is an energy of somebody that I can pick up. Like if I'm around a person who has molested somebody or is a molester, I feel that energy from them. And when I'm present, I really tune into the energy of other people. So as an example, I'm not saying everybody does, I'm just be aware. So I have a company that comes and sprays the house for bugs. And I had one person who was coming every month, and it was all good, it was fine. And then for whatever reason, they sent a new person to my house. And as soon as he stepped into my house, I was like, ooh, it just didn't feel good. He didn't even say anything. I was just when I opened the door and I looked at him, I was just like, whoa. So I stayed with that. And there was a conversation that happened that was a little uncomfortable. And so as soon as he left, I called and I said, please don't send that person to my house again. It was uncomfortable to me, and I trust my energy to know enough to say, no. So being present, be present to know what the energy is like.
That's true. It goes along with everything that we were talking about earlier. So
had I been, questioning that energy, had I been thinking about something else, multitasking in my head, doing something, just letting him go about the house and spraying, if I would have been anywhere but present, I wouldn't have received that. Now, had that person kept coming back, could I have gotten into a horrible situation? Maybe yes, maybe no. I don't know. I just know in that moment, that energy was not good to me. So coming back to the multitasking, is important to be present. Also, like, be present with the energy of other people, with the energy of your environment. And trust that if you have a lot of things to get done, trust that it's going to get done. And if you need help, ask and receive, be in the feminine energy to receive the help. Honor the help that comes to you. Don't push it away. Crazy things we do to ourselves.
We do. But if we're paying attention and we're getting these new tools and we start acknowledging what's going on, what we're doing, we start realizing that it's not someone else doing something to you. It's what you're doing. It's what you're not allowing.
Yes.
And it's not because you're doing something wrong. It's just because you're learning.
Learning.
It's just, we're in this giant classroom. Right? We've talked about that a million times. They're in a giant classroom. If every day we just use it as like, I always think about the Matrix, because to me it's like they would do downloads of stuff, or then they would start fighting or whatever they would do, their sparring and stuff. And it's like I think about that, and not that we're sparring in life with everything, but it's like it's just like if we're receiving information and then we're going out and experiencing, and then learning how to react in those experiences. We have opportunities every single day to implement the services or the tools that we've been receiving all along. We have every opportunity.
But implement it.
Yeah. When you get into a place where you're either going to lock yourself up at home and just watch TV because it's safer. You think it's safer, it's not. It's an unhappy existence. I lived it for a long time.
So yeah, so think if you're thinking, well, in order for me to be happy, I just can't interact with other people. I think about my spirit, like, is this what my spirit wanted when it came to Earth, was to just sit at home, watch TV, and not connect with others? You know, I almost have this vision that like my spirit, even though spirit's love and joy and all that, like they're inside, the spirit's inside, just like, oh, let's go play, let's have fun. But you're sitting on the couch watching TV day in and day out. You know, it's envisioning the spirit is sitting there like bored out of their freaking mind, right? They're just like, oh, Jesus, we're going to do this again today? Or the tear, right? The tear of a child who wants to play and have fun and they can't for whatever reason. That tear that comes down the cheek, and that spirit inside is just like, there's so much more for you, my dear. There's so much more for you, my dear. And we have so much available to you, and you're choosing the TV. You're choosing to be isolated. You're choosing to push others away. You're choosing sadness over love, you know? So it's like, I personally, I take my thoughts to an extreme of envisioning something that really makes me pay attention to what does my spirit want. So maybe that's a tool that could be implemented on your behalf as the audience, that what would you envision that would get your attention enough to do something different?
True.
And is that in masculine energy? Is it in the feminine energy? I can't answer that. The feminine energy is what is more playful.
More playful and creative, right? So to
And
me,
creative.
Yeah, and then the doing. So we could talk about that too. It's like the setting in the feminine would be the creative, the setting, the envisioning, the intention, all that stuff, and then the masculine is the actual receiving that inspired action to go and do it.
Yeah.
Not just going and doing it because we think we have to, or because we need to feel worthy, or
it's the action.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the masculine energy is the side that says, let's take action. The feminine energy is the creative side that says, oh, this might be fun and exciting. And then the masculine says, okay, well, let's go implement it. Let's go take action. Let's go do it. Right? So harmonizing. You gotta have both. I know I do this, and we have so we have the YouTube station so people can see us, but if they're listening to the audio only and I'm moving my hands back and forth, they can't see that part. So maybe you need to start watching the YouTube station, because there's so much more what do you call it? Movement, facial expressions.
Personality.
Personality, that's what I was looking for. Oh, what a great conversation, as always.
It's been fun.
At least I think so. That's my opinion.
I enjoyed it.
We enjoy it, so
That's right.
hopefully you do as well as our audience. We want to thank you for taking the time to listen, and just remember to implement that which you hear, whatever you've been requesting help with. If we've delivered a message that's going to help you, then implement. Do the work, implement it, apply it. Maybe that's a different word. Apply it to your life and practice it, because you will be given so many opportunities to practice.
It's true.
So with that, thank you so much for being here with Tea Time with Amie and Bev, and we will be back next week. Have a great week.
Thank you.